Hey, what's going on?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I am good. I'm blessed. I had a long day, right? Work, did everything, but I've been preparing all week, to talk to you and to hear you talk about your dream job.
Yeah. Well, first of all, appreciate being here. Second of all, you was talking mess about the Dookie, so I wore a little something special for you, A little Duke, shout out Paulo, and then shout out Mark Williams too. Brother of Elizabeth Williams got drafted last night, 15 to the Charlotte Hornets. So all my Dookies.
How many Duke guys went around? Like 4? 3 or 4?
Oh, no, I couldn't tell y'all that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I watched all the way to Mark got drafted, then it was time to go to sleep. Yeah, it was time to go to sleep. So yeah, it was a cool night. But yeah, like I said, excited to be here, and I'm glad you kind of branching out doing some women's sports.
Oh no, I gotta show y'all a lot of love. It's funny. I have a lot of, outside of me being a basketball fan, I have one of my co-hosts on my other show. He is just the biggest basketball aficionado. And he said, if you want to see real fundamentals, he said, you watch female basketball. He said, you watch the WNBA, you watch women's college. He said that's pure fundamentals there.
Yeah. And it's definitely growing. I feel like the players now are, way more skilled. I wouldn't say way more skilled, but they're definitely more skilled at a younger age than, some of the older players. And like you said, WNBA is more fundamental, but if you watch the right things in terms of their footwork and how they're finishing and how they can shoot, like it's really, and we do got some ones that can dunk every now and then, but if you watch the right things, like you said, like it's really interesting.
Most definitely. Well, let's get these people what they pay for, because I want to hear about, before we jump into basketball, I want to hear about you. So, all right, so you were just named the assistant coach for the Richmond Spiders women's basketball team in May.
In May, correct.
And May. Okay. Yeah. But before that, of course, you can see everybody, she wanted to come rocking her shirt. So you played for Duke for about 4 years. All right. So I want to hear about that journey. How did you get to Duke? How did this happen?
Well, when I was younger, I've been playing basketball, organized basketball since I was 3. I have a brother who's older, 4 years older. And I always play with him. But when I was in 5th grade, like I've always been just cooler with guys and everything. So I had 3 guy best friends, and it was a Duke UNC game, and that's when JJ Redick was playing. So they all went for UNC. I was like, I'm gonna just go for Duke. Like, and at this point, I had never followed Duke or anything like that. So I'm just go for Duke. I don't know what happened in the outcome of the game, I can't remember, but I was like, I like this team. So then. I did a little bit more research. Of course, I wasn't playing men's basketball, so I started researching the women's side. And at that time, that's when Elena Beard, Lindsey Harding, Isis Tillis, Allison Bells, the Wayner sisters. I mean, go on and on. So I started following them a lot. And then, it was cool when Elena Beard got drafted to WNBA and Lindsey Harding. But then once I started playing AAU, I played my first AAU programs for Fairfax Stars, and they had a girl named Jasmine Thomas. And at that time, I was living in Northern Virginia. She's just somebody who I followed, and she ended up going to Duke, and now she's in the league. She plays for Connecticut. Unfortunately, right now she's out, with an unfortunate ACL tear. But so those 3 women really got me into Duke, and then I committed early. I committed as a sophomore. Ooh. I was offered in 9th grade, committed as a sophomore. I'm the type of person. My dream job, my dream school. So I'm like, So so I got there, and it was just an amazing time. And I think a lot of great things, but the best thing about it was to really get a grade A education, to be on such a historic campus. People always ask me, have you met Coach K? You met Coach K? I mean, yeah, I've seen him, but never he not my dog or nothing like that. To be
you seen him in passing.
Yeah, exactly. But to be there when he got the 1K, and even for myself, we hung the banner in 2013, won the ACC championship. I set a personal record. I was 7th in history to have a triple-double against ODU. So to go there, leave some history, get a great degree, it was the right choice for sure.
Wow. So now you mentioned you mentioned Coach Ken a little bit. Were you, when you played for Duke, were you able to connect with some of the male players too?
For sure. I was probably like that 2004. It was a class that if Kyrie would have graduated, it would have been him. So Tyler Thornton, Josh Harrison. The people who came with me in my class was Austin Rivers, Alex Murphy, but he transferred. Mike Benajay, he transferred, and then there was one more I can't remember. But yeah, it was always respect, and we share the same hall, so it was cool.
Okay, so now what high school did you say you went to again?
I went to Thomasdale High School.
Thomasdale High School. Okay,
yeah,
what did you average? What did you average as a sophomore? Because I sometimes I forget you can commit as a sophomore. I thought it was junior.
Yeah.
What did you average as a freshman and sophomore for them to say, here, we want you?
So I don't know, and I have my phone right here. I don't know my average as a freshman and sophomore, but I have this picture on my phone I'm looking at. Where is that? So my total 4-year average in high school was 20 points. And then I ended with 2,075 points, which is a school record. So, yeah, and it's so crazy. Like, I've been fortunate to, my high school retired my jersey back in 2018, I want to say 18 or 19. And I always tell people, like, when you're playing, you don't think about that stuff. Like when I was playing, all I wanted to do was just win, and I wanted to have fun and win championships. So like, when I went back to, exactly, it was never about the numbers. And even when I was getting the numbers, like it was about winning the game. Like if I had to get 10 rebounds one game or score 20, and then somebody else had to do, score 20 or whatever, like I just wanted to win. So, but when they read off my accolades, I was just like, oh, dang, that was good. Like, I mean,
you didn't even notice.
Nah, yeah. And like, even my favorite one, I think, is 46 double-doubles and 15 triple-doubles. Like, I didn't really know what a double, I knew what it was, but I wasn't trying to do, I was just winning, having fun. So it's cool to, have that and go back. And, I still keep in contact, obviously for recruiting reasons, but, the AD there, Ricky Talman, really good guy, and, changing the way of night athletics, I guess I should say.
Okay. A pretty interesting story. Now, let me ask you this. How would you describe your game? Like, you're a point guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you more of a playmaker, or was you more of a scorer?
Well, it changed, obviously playing high school, the AAU, like once I got the AAU, my role kind of changed. Like I was with a lot of great players. So, but at high school, and not to say my high school was bad or anything like that, but, and even when I got to Duke, like I just really did what was needed, but I can always score. Now being older, my 1-year professional, like I'm more of a shooter. I wouldn't say like, I ain't no Steph Curry shooter, but like taking the right shots, and I don't mind contact, but I really am a defender for real. Like defensive rebounding, that's where I get all my points, because it's effort, I can miss every shot, but I can get a lot of rebounds and still be effective.
So you're like Pat Bev?
I can really do without Pat Bev.
I don't feel like she liked that comparison. She's like, I don't know.
I would say, as far as defense, if I had to compare somebody,
Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Are you giving me a female comp? You give me a female.
Yeah, but I'm right now I'm thinking more like Marcus Smart, and I'm thinking like in my prime. Like I'm not thinking now. And then if I had to go female, a really good female defender, really she just got in the league a couple years ago. Didi Richards. She be putting straps on people. She's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, obviously you were a good player, played AAU, did a lot of things in high school, went to Duke. At what point did you say, I want to coach? Because some people just, you're still young. You're how young?
I'm 29. How young? Right. I like that. 29.
I had to flip around for later, but you could still be chasing the dream. At what point did you say I'm going to be a coach and maybe either stop playing or just slow down my playing career?
Really, it was so after college, I had the opportunity to actually try to be a graduate assistant at VCU. I knew an assistant coach there that reached out to me, but I couldn't just not play and be like, what if down the road? So I had my first year and it just literally, I was in Switzerland. Season was over. I had like a week to come home and I was in the gym working out. And I was just like, I think I want to coach now. Like, I think that the big thing for me, and that's why I have so much respect for these women who play overseas, is that I can't just pick up my life and go overseas for 9-10 months and come back. Like, my family's too valuable for that. Like,
wow.
So that just wasn't for me. So I'll never forget, I called my parents and I was, working out, whatever. And I was like, y'all, I think I want to stop playing basketball. My dad couldn't believe it. Like, he was like, for real? I was like, yeah. And he was like, what you going to do? And I was like, well, I think I want to coach. And being a point guard helped that. Like, I've always kind of had a hand in stuff and I'm just really big on just like helping people out. Like, I don't care what position you are. Like, I always knew all the spots to the play because as a point guard, that helps you be better. So I told those first people I told, like, I think I want to stop playing. Then I came home, got a job at a local gym for like 3 months. And then I started my coaching career under Trina Patterson at UNC Greensboro. So, and then from there, I went to VCU to Longwood. Now I'm at Richmond.
Wow. So that happened pretty quick. How fast would you say the turnaround was from the end of your playing career to now being at Richmond? It's about 4 years? No. So I been coaching since 2016. So it's at 6 years. Yeah, I did 2 years at UNCG. I only did a year at VCU. And then 3 years at Longwood, to where we, just most recently just came from there and we won the Big South Championship, first in school history, and went to NCAA tournaments. Did a lot of special things there. And it was definitely, to be there as a player for all 4 years, and not to say this in a bragging way, but it was kind of expected that we got to the tournament at Duke. No, it's very hard to get there as a coach and to be at the mid-major level because you have to win your conference. That's the only way we're going. We're not getting 2 bids at the Big South level. Right.
So it was definitely a great cap to end my time there. And yeah, another place I left my mark and got a banner at. So I'm happy. I like the win.
Okay. So how about this? Before we progress into your coaching career, just really quick, tell us what was playing overseas ball like for you?
It was cool. I did 1 year. So I did the first 7-8 months in Prague, Czech Republic. So I was there. I was, that was still in my prime. So I was averaging 19 and 10. I was leading the league in rebounds as a guard. Again, my guy, yeah, I like the rebound. It's easy buckets. It's easy buckets. So, and then just, some things didn't work out. So came back home for a month or two, a month and a half. And then that's when I went to Switzerland. And it was cool because, I'm 5'11" with shoes on. I like to say 6 feet, maybe.
And I'm glad you said it because I was going to ask your height.
Yeah. So I'm a tall point guard. But so the team in Switzerland actually wanted me to play the 4. And I was like, I've never played 4 in my life. And this ain't like I play every position in high school, but this ain't high school. Right. So I was like, oh, y'all trust me to play 4? But they see how I rebound and they see how physical I am. So I was like, all right, gave it a try and I ended up going over there and averaging around the same. And then that team had went to their league conference championship for the first time in history. So with me being there, so I was like, cool. So, but it was, again, it just, when it came to the family aspect, and I remember the very first time I got not upset, but it was a bye week. And, I wasn't getting paid $20,000 a month. I was getting paid I was good. I don't know what range or whatever to put it in, but I wasn't getting paid big bucks, but I was cool.
You was well taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, my goal was I told my parents, I'm going to play 7 years minimum overseas. And hopefully I was going to get a WNBA tryout. I had a little combine before I went overseas. And I talked at the time, Michael Cooper was the head coach of Atlanta Dream. And I had talked to him and he liked me, but the management and stuff, they went different ways. And I mean, it's a business is cool. So my goal was to do really well that first year. And then, get some good numbers. Maybe try EuroLeague, that's the WNBA of overseas, and then hopefully get a WNBA training camp contract and just, see how far I can go. So, but other plans and, I love what I'm doing now. So, but it was definitely cool. I still have my Czech Republic jersey. I wear my shorts all the time and I gave my dad my jersey. So it was really fun.
And I hear a lot about that. That's why I had to ask because I hear a lot about WNBA players that play here and then during the off season go over there. And I've heard some of those ladies like it overseas more than they like playing in the WNBA. So I always wanted to know what the experience was like. Yeah. So now as a coach, right? This may sound like a loaded question. But what are the day-to-day responsibilities of like a college basketball coach? And I'm assuming it's year round, like you always have something to do. So like what and even more so as an assistant coach now, what is your primary duties?
So our three biggest, it's kind of broken into 2 seasons. So you have off season, which is really no off season. Excuse me. Then you have like during the season. So during the season, I'll start there. Your biggest, responsibilities are definitely doing scouts, and that's scouting the team. And your head coach decides how he or she breaks it up. And then player development is always big. That's just you have to know how to get your players better, and then recruiting. That's the biggest thing. If you get just like the Genos and the Don Staley's, you get a good class, but can you keep doing it and keep producing? So right now, being as it's the summer, the NCAA has rules in terms of how many hours we can work with our players. So during the season, we have 20 hours. So essentially practice 2.5. Some coaches do 3, but you can never exceed 4 hours in a day of whether it's film practice or like strength and conditioning. So
now, is that like a I'm learning something. I'm today years old. Is that a new development?
It's been like that. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it's the rules in NCAA change like periodically. Like, we have these conventions. Another thing we do in the off season is we go, the Final Four is a big thing, is a big learning piece. The WBCA convention, you go there and you learn things, and that's where they vote on different rules for, the bylaws and stuff for what we can and cannot do. Through the NCAA. So there's a lot of rules. Big headlines are always about some coaches breaking the rules, but there's a lot of rules that you have to adhere to. And, people just see what you see on TV. That's a 40-minute game. But they don't see all the stuff behind it that goes into it. Like plenty of stories about doing late night scouts or, working with film or doing stuff like that. So, yeah.
So would you say, so you're right now, obviously you're the assistant coach, so it's the head coach and it's you?
Well, I mean, on our staff at Richmond, we have Coach Aaron Russell, he's the head coach. Then we have myself and I coach the post. And then you have Coach Brittany, she coaches, we call them the big guards. And then Coach Janine, she coaches the point guards. And then we also have a director of basketball operations, which is, she basically is, her name's Janelle. She basically, handles all the travel and stuff like that, the gear, the food, the Dobo. I mean, of course, the head coach is the most important person. We got that. But the Dobo makes the engine go. Like, you have to have a Dobo who's like organized and, really knows what he or she is doing. And because to really run a team, you're depending on outside sources. Like, you have to schedule something like a team dinner, or you have to, make sure you talk to the pilots of the plane or talk to the plane, like transportation people. Like, it's very challenging. And then we also have a director of player development in John Studer. So, all of us, we all have our different, and he does community service stuff. He does camp. That's Also, that's why my voice sounds like this.
Oh no, you're good.
I've been in camp. My voice is usually not sound like this. I've been in camp for the past 4 days. So,
yelling.
Man, it's kids camp too. So, but yeah, so he does all the community service stuff, and we're all just active with him, and we're just there to really give our student athletes a 5-star. What am I'm looking for? A 5-star experience. There we go. Woo! There's a lot to get there.
So how about this? Tell us a little bit. Who on this Richmond team should we look out for? Like, who are some of the up and coming names? Like some kids.
I mean,
obviously all of them are talented.
I'm about to say, I'm not gonna sit here and dissect the team like that. I mean, but we just got really 4 exciting freshmen that came in. They got on campus on Father's Day. I was joking with all their fathers, like, what a Father's Day gift. You're giving me your daughter. I'll take her. Thank you. But we have returning all-conference player in Addie Butnick. She's a post from Chicago, Illinois. But we have some just a really good team. We're a long team. Coach Russell likes some long and lanky, like KD or Breanna Stewart type players. So you
guys got some height.
More height, yes, but more so length. Like, I don't know their wingspans, but they just be. I feel short. Let me say that. I feel like I'm undersized a little bit. But yeah, we just have some players who are ready to step up. Grace Townsend, our returning starting point guard. Savon Ryan. So we got some people who are really going to do some things this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how would you explain? Explain like you guys' playing style? Maybe not to give that away the competition.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say this. Coach Russell likes for our women to find the easiest way to score the basket. And you can say however that is. We are a good 3-point shooting team. He actually just shared a stat in practice, or not practice, but workout. I'm just saying practice for everything. But he shared a stat in our workout today that we were number 3 on field goal percentage, 2s last year. So we take good shots. We like for all of our players to be able to hit 3. So our post can step out, stretch that floor. That's kind of the way the game is going a little bit. So yeah, we're, it's going to be exciting to watch and exciting to coach for sure.
Almost definitely. And this will be your very first year at Richmond.
Yeah, very first year.
Okay. So obviously you expect to hang a banner, make it to the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you do, nothing comes overnight. If you do the right things, it'll work out. One thing that really attracted me to Richmond, and not to skip it to another question if you have this question, but
yeah.
When I did my research on Coach Russell, like, he has a 68% win percentage. My mans can win. So, whatever he's doing over here, he's had a coaching journey as well. He started at UIC in Chicago. And then he was at Bucknell for a pretty long time. Had, won Coach of the Year multiple times, NCAA tournament, produced players, or not players of the year, but like conference players and freshman of the year. And then he's been here now 4 years and, going to his 5th year and really, just going to see what we can do. And Richmond was, and this is, and by no means to talk about what has happened before he got there, but it was always a school that was like one of those schools where it's like, oh, you get a good education. But the athletics, when basketball really ain't, and especially being from Chesterfield, being from Richmond, like, I'm going to just be honest, the school you thought about when you thought Richmond, Virginia was a VCU. Okay. That's when Shaka Smart, Havoc and stuff like that. Like, so you thought Richmond, you thought VCU. So, definitely a little bit more close to home. Being here, like, trying to help them make some noise for everybody's sake.
So basically you guys are changing the narrative of Richmond basketball.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So let's look more at women's basketball as a whole. Cause I think we can both agree that it doesn't get its due diligence. We got to get a lot of good players. A lot of big names to play college, women's college basketball. Big names that are known in mass media. Diana Taurasi, she played at UConn. We had Lisa Leslie at USC. I'm a USC fan, so I had to throw her name out there.
I feel that.
And then we had, Brittany Griner. Though she's going through her stuff, but the early 2010s, she was going crazy at Baylor.
Yeah.
But my thing is, you get these big names, but we still have a sport that is still progressing and still trying to find ways to draw a fan base, right? Or to get the notoriety that it needs. What do you think needs to happen, or what are some ideas? What do you think needs to happen to change that?
Yeah, well, I think, always the investment. I think that people sometimes forget that the NBA has been around for 75 years. And I am no money mathematician or anything like that, but just to see where the NBA was at when they were at 25 years, but all the money that just people and investors and owners have put into male sports, women's sports hasn't always been like this. That's why we just had the 50-year celebration of Title IX. We've had to fight for a lot of stuff that we get.
Right.
So, I think that if you have people, who are just fans of the game, just like you were saying earlier, your boy was talking about it's really fundamental basketball. And I try to get away from fundamental basketball because it's just basketball. You have a lot of women that play with guys and can hold their own and really sometimes be the best on the court. I've seen the videos of Jewel Lloyd schooling people, or just different WNBA players that's out here doing their thing. So I think that it all depends on what people like, because NBA basketball to me is entertainment. So
and I would agree.
So is the WNBA to a degree, because it's a professional sport. But the difference is that one professional sport is at tier A and WNBA is being treated like tier D. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. I hate to, use the elementary school word, but that's not fair. You can't do that. Just the simple fact that you have these women, I have one of my good friends, Elizabeth Williams, back to the Williams family. She played with me at Duke, and, I still keep in contact with her. She plays for the Washington Mystics now. Okay. And it's crazy that I am working at University of Richmond, which is a college. And even when we played at Duke, we chartered planes everywhere. When we flew to Syracuse, and where else we fly to? Boston College and Florida State and Miami. We didn't go through security. We got our food, walked on the concrete straight to the plane, got in the plane, and was there on a nonstop flight. We didn't have all this stuff. So, for her, we still have a Snapchat streak going. That's my homie been going for about we always lose it because when she gets overseas, it gets a little hard because time difference or whatever. But so I snap her every day. But she snapped me one morning and she was like, "Why am I in, a terminal? On another commercial flight?" And she had just played the night before. And I'm just like, yo, y'all traveling like this. And again, this year at Richmond, when we go and play Duquesne and we go and play St. John's or, these other schools, St. Louis, we're going to fly there in a chartered plane and get treated better than these professionals.
Wow.
That are literally already having to go overseas. And some people like it over there. Not every woman that plays in WNBA, plays in WNBA. I'm sorry, not every woman that plays in the EuroLeague plays in WNBA, because some people just like it over there better.
Right.
But it's you have these vets that's been doing it for a long time. And again, they're getting support from the people who support women's basketball. And of course, you have the NBA stars who's really, really supporting women's basketball. If Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, was still here,
he loved it.
Exactly.
Big supporter,
for his daughter. So you have the men, but then you always have just these stupid naysayers that are just saying pointless stuff. Today, I kid you not, today we were walking back from lunch and these little boys was walking by, and of course we a little girls camp or whatever. And I heard one little boy say, he said something and he was like, "I bet y'all can't even one-on-one." I wanted to turn around and be like, "What's up? Let's go." Should
have called him out of the court.
I'm like, come on, I'm 29. This boy probably 13. I ain't trying to do that. But I'm like, unfortunately, you have fans and majority, males who are saying these things to really go out of their way to put down a league who is, they're doing a lot of great things for the young generation, like all the videos you see on social media of girls like dressing like their favorite WNBA player and, really, really making memories. Like you have people who are just going out their way to really just be mean and just really talk down on it. So I think if you have more people who, you have more ballers who just support the game, and, the support of the game has definitely gotten better over the years. Again, 25 years, that's amazing to be able to do something for that long. That's a long time to have a professional league that, I don't know if you just saw the documentary for the 1996 Olympic women, like a league that was on some stuff like you have to do well in the Olympics or there's no league.
Right.
Like what type of ultimatum is like that, So yeah, I love watching it. I use it as a tool to help get my players better. Use it as a tool to help them watch basketball. Teach them how to watch film and stuff like that. So I think if you want to be the best, the NBA got the best, and WNBA got the best too. So you definitely got to watch the best, and I enjoy watching it. I love that Elizabeth is up in Washington. She was at Atlanta Dream, and I've been to at least one of her games every single year since she's got in the league, and she's been in the league since 2015, and then COVID's the exception, obviously, because I couldn't go. But yeah, I like to support a lot of former players that I played against in college or AAU or basketball world, super small. So
right.
It's it's just a lot of people that I like watching, and like I said, I like using to help get my players better at Richmond.
Most definitely, and you said something, and it's something I always want to remind people of. I remember one day I was laying on my couch and I was on HBO Max, and I got a chance to watch that Magic and Larry Bird documentary. This was years ago, and I think people forget that in the 1960s, early 1970s. Maybe mid to late 1970s, the NBA was going under, right?
That's true.
And it took for the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson rivalry saved the NBA. So you're not saying the WNBA needs something like that exactly, but I never want people, especially NBA fans, to get on their high horse and look down on the WNBA, because not even too long ago the NBA was right exactly there where they was about ready to close up shop. So no, it's a lot of good things going on, and like I said, hopefully we can draw more attention to it. Something I'll say this, and maybe you can tell me whether you agree with it or not. I would love to see more young ladies glorify, or because sometimes when I meet a lot of female basketball players, especially when I went to high school, they wouldn't talk about WNBA players as much. They would talk about NBA players. They would talk about, and I'm like, okay, well, how about we talk about these WNBA players that, I'm not saying that you can't glorify NBA players, because basketball is basketball, but if we can just kind of shift and put more focus on that to our young female athletes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I agree with you with that. And one reason young girls are so apt to do that is because that's all that's been broadcasted. Like, you take one slew of games for a WNBA night, and they're on like Prime Video, Facebook. You don't have the convenience of just flipping on your TV, going to ABC and watching the game. You have to go out your way to do that. And or you have to watch it on the League Pass. And it's like, why can't I sit back on my couch, turn on TV and watch how I watch the men's league? So part of it is convenience. And then just, that's what we grew up on. That's, even myself, I was a huge KD fan before my mans went to the Warriors. My man broke my heart that year. That 4th of July, I will never forget. I was like, no, how you go and they just beat you 3-1? Or that. Why, bro?
He's from the DMV area.
Yeah. He's from what is it called? What is the area called? Seat Pleasant. He's from Seat Pleasant. Okay. And that's just, I grew up. I remember watching Jordan. I remember watching all of his little Jordan, movie videos that he did back then. I remember watching Kobe and Shaq. My dad is a huge Laker fan. So all we watch is Kobe and Shaq. Like the play where I think it was Kobe drove to the lane and he just tossed the lob up to Shaq, and Shaq came out of nowhere and just dunked that joint. And he was like, oh, like pointing. Yeah. I remember watching that live. Like we used to sit around TV, NBA finals come on. Like I know my brother, who shout out Jay, he's somewhere in the ocean right now.
Protecting our country.
Exactly. Appreciate your service. But he's a huge LeBron fan. I remember when LeBron was with. Sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
Are you more with Kobe or what? Or
I was a big Kobe fan. Yeah.
Kobe.
But yeah, Jay always talked about LeBron, so we
yeah. But I remember watching, the games when LeBron was in Miami, and like that was like Sunday. That was like family time. Like my mom cooked, we set up shop, we watching the game, and we drawing back and forth. And I mean that's just sometimes. So I do agree with you in terms of like if we do have more young women, like you said, glorify some of these. WNBA players. I was actually talking to a recruit earlier, and I asked her like some of her favorite players, and I was happy and surprised that she said Paige Beckers and Ozzie Fudd. I was like, oh, yeah, like okay, she really watches the game, and that's another thing too. Like a lot of people say they watch the game. A lot of these young kids, yes, they watch the game, but they don't really watch the game like that.
They don't study the game.
Yeah, like. I asked some people like, who your favorite player? Well, I don't really watch it. Huh? Like, I'm like, what? Like right now in the summer, like I said, our duties are different. So right now in the summer, I'm always watching like NBA clips, WNBA clips, and studying the game and watching stuff to, bring those moves that they're doing. Like, being the post coach now, like I watch a lot of Asia Wilson, John Claude Jones. One of them, I asked Addie, her favorite player, she was like Breanna Stewart. So I watch players that they like to help them out. And then one of my other players said, she actually said Drew Timme from Gonzaga. So, just
he's
really
nice.
Studying the game. Yeah, his footwork is crazy, yo. Like, so I do this thing to where, I'm totally getting off the question, but
no, you're good. You're good. Go hard. Go crazy.
So I do this thing. I don't know really where I got it from, but I would just ask my players like their favorite player, and we have this software called Synergy, and it's the same thing that NBA uses and NWNBA uses. You can just go on and pull clips. Like it's just a database, and people have to upload their games to there, and so we have access to it. So I asked, my players, hey, give me like 2 favorite players. And I encourage them for it to be a man and a woman, and then what I do is I go find clips in them. Like, I don't just do scoring, but, a lot of it is scoring because player development. But, if a person is a great shot blocker or a great, defender, like I'll grab some clips of steals or whatever. So I find clips of them that they're doing moves of their favorite player and they don't even know it. So it's like a 5-minute video I put together. And it's like a little highlight reel. So you watch yourself for about the first 230, excuse me. And then you watch, like I did for Addie, I did Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and then I did Jaren Jackson Jr. Okay. So then I picked somebody that I think you come out of your game after. And then for another player, I just told you I did Drew Timme. She had Elena Deladon, and then I chose. No, I did Jaren Jackson Jr. for her. I'm sorry. I did Asia Wilson for Addie. But anyway, point of the story is that I like to use film, and that goes back to, them watching it, and then we talk about it. And I'm like, hey, what did you see? What can we add to your game? What do you want to add to your game? Like, I'm not out there playing. I did my time. So
right.
I'm big on ownership. Like, how do you see your game? Okay, I want to be an all-conference player. Okay, so what do you want to do to be an all-conference player? It's just not going to happen. And, I'm use and abuse me. Like, I love being in the gym. I still shoot on the gun myself. Like, I still work out. Like, I'm a hooper at heart. So, yeah.
And I like that because you're not just coaching these girls and just teaching them a few moves. You're really teaching them how to dissect their game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And giving them some kind of a progression chart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's what I don't think everybody, that plays basketball is going to be a coach. I'm not saying that, but you do want to kind of be a coach of your game for at least 4 years. Like, if you don't like something, fix it. And all it takes is effort and just repetition. And, I always say we aren't rocket scientists, but what we do requires a lot of effort and a lot of dedication. Relationship based, like these young women aren't going to do something. They don't go out there and play their hardest if they don't believe that you believe in them or, care about them. That's really true. So.
Okay. I just quoted that too. I wrote that down. I'll put that up. I'm going to frame that and I'm going to make that a
which one?
We aren't rocket scientists, but what we do requires.
Yeah, it is. Hey,
Yeah,
I like that. I might get that tatted. I'm gonna do my next tat. Appreciate you.
All right. I'll make sure I tag you. Okay. So, all right. Now, I guess you kind of spoke about this because, talking about teaching your players. What player would you say, it could be multiple, but who did you model your game after? And on the coaching side, who do you model your coaching style after, if you do?
Well, the player is easy. Those three women who I named before, Lindsey Harding, Elena Beard, Jasmine Thomas, all in their prime. One thing I like about them, I keep it short and simple. They play both sides of the ball. I feel like they're great. Play both sides of the ball. And they all have, unique scoring ways. And so women's side. Not women's side, but playing side, definitely those three. Really, I don't really have anybody in NBA that I would model my game after. Again, I watch that as a fan. That's entertainment to me. I don't really tap, I ain't no LeBron James, nothing like that. Like I can't do all that. But as far as my coaching style, this is my first time getting that. I've never really modeled my coaching style after anybody as far as style. But one thing I pay attention to is how coaches impact players' lives. Like my favorite coach, believe it or not, is not a basketball coach. It's a football coach. I'm a big Alabama.
Nick Saban?
Yeah, exactly. I love Nick Saban. But let me tell you why I love Nick Saban. The way that and I'm going to just be completely honest here.
Yeah.
The way that in this day and age, this white man has this ability to connect with these majority Black boys on this team. And he continues to build excellence. So whatever he's doing to create that relationship is working. You can say the same thing with, Coach K. And I'm not trying to by no means make this a racial thing, but
no.
I pay attention to that. And, for you to create relationships and to have continued excellence, like I think that's what I strive for. Like, right now, like what Don Staley just did and, breaking barriers left and right, like, of course, she's a look like me type of coach who I want to, model my coaching style after. But the first person who, I read Nick Saban's book a couple of years ago, like I'm big into learning and reading and stuff like that. So he's a person that I've looked at, that I've just really enjoyed watching what he does. And I just try to, I feel like my gift is player development, again, being a hooper. So just trying to help them get better. And I'm just big on relationships. My players now at Richmond always say I ask too many questions and I ask the invasive questions, but I'm like, well, I'm trying to get to know you. Like, I just don't want to coach. I just don't want to say, go do a ball screen, go do this, and then not actually how your family's doing. Like, I just feel like it doesn't work like that. Yeah, that's just how I coach.
Wow. And I'm gonna say this. First of all, you got me excited because I'm like the biggest football fan ever. So when you mentioned Nick Saban, my eyes are
I saw peep.
But no, that's good. And I think you said it, you don't have to worry about it being anything racial because I think we can agree on in any sport, whether it be male or female side of the house, every Black coach can't connect with white players from the suburbs of Texas, and every white coach can't relate and connect with these kids that's from the backwoods of Georgia or the streets of LA. Yeah. So his ability, or even Coach K's ability to do that, is definitely impressive. So
for sure. And it's cool too. Like, definitely being an assistant, like both of those coaches, Coach K and Coach Saban, they let their assistants shine. And not to say we're looking for shine. Like I've had, of course, people ask, oh, you want to be a head coach? You want to be a head coach? That's kind of, fluctuate a little bit. Like some days I want to be a head coach, but sometimes I don't mind being somebody's like long time associate head coach and supporting their dream because I'm such a team player. So, if I'm, working for a head coach and right now, like, being in my dream job, working for Coach Aaron, like I want to support his vision. I want to support what he has. And, he allows me to step in and bring what I have to the table. And he's been open to some stuff. So why not be under a leader like that, And
that's good. They say, like I said, I feel like even you're eventually going to be a head, whether you like it or not, you'll probably eventually be a head coach.
That's what everybody said.
Because usually people that are phenomenal followers, they become great leaders.
Yeah, that's true.
So just that selfless, that's rare. I'm just letting you know that because I'm sure you in your community, there's some assistant coaches like, I can't, but like, I need to find some way to get up out of here, before they're ready, so.
Yeah. And that's one thing, like, I never wanted to, you can never be ready to be like you can be, but you kind of just have to do it. So,
right.
But I never want to do something I'm not ready for.
Right.
So I take pride, like my journey of, going from playing at the highest level in the ACC to being a graduate assistant and like loading the bus and like taking food orders and waiting on these student athletes hand and foot. I'm like, what? Like I'm doing this, and I just got waited on hand and foot for 4 years, but it does humble you. And not to say I wasn't a humble person, but I like doing that. Like I always, they would be so surprised. And even at Longwood, like before I got the job here at Richmond, like I would take their bags and put them on the bus. And I'd be like, no, I didn't touch a bag when I played at Duke. So you're not going to touch when you're a Division I athlete. Like I'm not letting you do that. So yes, we don't have 6 coaches. So I'm a coach. This is my job. I'll throw some headphones on and just be up there, just loading the bus and just chilling. Like I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Like, I want everybody to have an experience that they deserve and to be a D1 athlete, to have to pay for school. I don't care where you go. You ain't got no student debt and you get a, great education.
Most definitely. And I'm gonna tell you this, there's something about serving that is fulfilling at any level you do it at, and it really prepares you for the blessings that's coming ahead.
Sure.
So no, I'm glad it's good that you were able to see it that way, because some people they let it get to their head. Now to me, and I can think of moments in my life. I did in the off season, I trained. My sisters play other sports, so I would train for the girls softball team and the girls train. Yeah. So, but it humbled me, and it made me a better player, and it made me a better leader moving forward. So no, it's really good. Yeah. So obviously, I know you got a lot. We could stay on here all day because I can ask.
Nah, man, no, this is cool, man. This is dope. This is dope.
So how can the fans reach you? Like, let's hear your handles.
So you can follow. I always get these mixed up. Because it's just my name, but I put the underscore either before or after. So my Instagram is my name, Ka'lia Johnson, Ka'lia Johnson underscore. And then my Twitter is underscore Ka'lia Johnson. So very simple. I like for people to easily find me, recruits easily find me. And, when I was younger, I used to have different aliases, but, I'm grown now. So I just keep it simple.
No more nicknames. We done with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this one. So I was growing up, my age of music, Wale, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa. So Khalifa, Ka'lia. So I was like Wiz Khalifa for a while. And I was like, yeah, I'm done with that. I can't do that.
Did you have
way too?
Did you do the patch?
No.
Okay, I'm about to say.
My hair gold.
I'm about to say. Okay.
But I was all about the skinny jeans, the chucks, all that stuff like that. So.
Okay, you were swagged out. No, most definitely. But hey, look, it's been a blessing having you on, and we're definitely gonna have to. I'm gonna have to bring you on my other show, Rooted in Sports.
That's cool. Yeah, let me know.
And talk some junk. This is the more formal, educational, but the other show we act a doggone fool, But but no, it was great to have you on. And I know a lot of female athletes. We have some female listeners. They're going to love this, because I want to do as much as we can to really service our female athletes and to make the Breakroom Breakdown just another outlet for you guys.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Nah, anytime. I love doing this. I definitely love, first and foremost, getting my school out there, University of Richmond. I'm always sell, and I kind of feel like that's what I'm here to do. But, and just to talk sports and just to share my story. And you always hear a lot of stories about coaches and their journeys, and you don't really know what it is until you're in it.
Right.
And, there's been a lot of, I've seen my friends got all these great jobs, and, I'm definitely happy for them. So to now kind of be in a situation to be blessed, to be back at home, close to my family, close to my friends.
That's so dope.
Yeah, I mean, I see my little nephew every day. I see my parents whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And I'm, again, huge family person. So, I love to talk. I love to support women. I love to do anything with sports and basketball. And hey, I can be on the other show and talk some trash. I can be like Pat Beverly then, because he be starting to plot on his little podcast, man. He be saying some wild stuff.
Yeah, that joker that got immediate. He definitely acted a fool. But I'm here for it. I'm here for all the banter.
Yeah.
Well, definitely keep us updated with your journey. Like I said, we'll definitely be seeing you again here pretty soon. I'm a definitely stay tapped in with the Richmond women's basketball team and see how you guys progress through the year.
For sure. Appreciate being here.
All right, most definitely. Have a blessed one.
All right, you too.
Whew. So that was a good interview. We just talked to Ka'lia Johnson, and she broke down her playing journey, and it's not too many times often we get to talk to female basketball players, and a sport that I think doesn't get the attention that it deserves. But just hearing her talk about the passion in which she talked about it, and some of the frustration, and I like frustration. I think it's good. It shows how much she loves the game. So I hope you guys learned a lot. Female athletes, I hope you guys are able to see what's possible, and see someone that's truly a student of the game, and how she progressed as a player, and then her ultimately being a coach now. But you guys, if you had fun, please subscribe. We're on all platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify. And if you guys ever want to chop it up with the Rooted in Sports clan, the Rooted in Sports community, we're on Twitter Spaces every Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sometimes we go for 2 hours. Sometimes we go for 3.5 hours. It can get crazy in there. And then, as I mentioned, and I've plugged a million times. People keep calling me. I plugged a million times. Rooted in Sports podcast every Monday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have fun on there, and we cover a slew of different sports topics. But hey, and then for this podcast, you guys, you have friends that want to learn sports, just go ahead and pass the pod along to them. Let them learn, let them study, so they can become a valuable member of our secret garden, of our community, of our clan. But outside of that, I want you guys to have a blessed one, and I will see you guys next episode.